2. Welcome to Sunday Streams, hosted by Vibe Unit. This is session 111. We are a collection of musicians located in Benton Harbor. Our goal is to connect artists with local events and to host our own events with the aim of connecting artists and facilitating their creativity. One way we accomplish this is this Sunday stream. We broadcast here once a week on Sunday. We touch base with our community, talk with local artists. We're recording bands, live sets, or just maybe workshopping music with artists, and also reporting on current events about music in the area. If you know anyone who would enjoy this, share it around. We broadcast on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Also, we have an Instagram if you want to keep up with us there. I want to take a moment to acknowledge our donors. We have had immense support, keep the lights on here, keep the broadcast going, and also help us upgrade equipment and keep this broadcast happening. So if you're on this list, we really appreciate you. Thank you. And if you know anyone who wants to get involved with Vibe Unit, please send us an email. Our email is media@vibeunit.com. We are currently looking for bands and artists who have at least a 30-minute set of original material to live stream on our platform. We would like to connect with you, provide you with more info on how to get in this. Again, our email is media@vibeunit.com, and also you can check out our website, vibeunit.com, where you can find more information about that. Follow the tabs at the top of the browser, and you'll see. Well, they'll direct you. So we have some upcoming events in the area. We're going to get into that now. What's going on, John?
Not a whole lot. Everything going well in your world?
Oh, yeah.
I saw you last night. We were at the show, and that was fun.
Yeah. The Scypian family band at the Livery, and that was wild.
It was wild.
I was actually one of the main. I'll talk about this, and we'll get into the events coming up. But
sure.
One of the highlights of the evening for me was listening to that bass.
Yeah.
We just shout out to their bass player. What's his name? I actually
Dustin, I believe.
Dustin. Okay, Dustin. Amazing tone, dude. It was awesome. I was really enamored by the bass.
Yeah, we enjoyed that. That was a pleasure.
Yeah. Well, we do have some upcoming events in the area. Tonight, at the Livery, the Benton Harbors Art Association is going to host an open stage. And that's going to be tonight at, what is that? Sign up is 4:30, or is it sign up at 4?
4:30 is sign up.
So sign up is at 4:30, and the first set begins at 5.
Cool.
Yeah, and it'll go until 8. So if you're a musician, you want to get on the stage, you got some songs you've been working on, come on out. Trying to fill that place up. And last month, I think it was, we had so many people attend it that or participate in it that we actually went over time.
Yeah.
Remember that? I think it was like a half hour over or something like that.
Yeah, we've seen like a steady increase in interest, both in just attendance and also performers. We've seen some really cool folks come through.
Yeah,
some of whom I'm hoping we see again tonight.
So that's tonight at sign-ups at 4:30, and the show begins at 5, and we'll go until 8. So come on out, check out some local artists. Also, next Saturday, which is March 11th, we have an open studio here at our space right here in this room. And this will be our second one. That begins at 2 o'clock next Saturday, and we finish around 4. But that is an event where you can come hang out with musicians, network a little bit, maybe play some music, or maybe just hang out, whatever you want to do. But the point of it, the whole thing, is just networking and connecting, or just being inspired by being around musicians. And the cool thing about that is, if you are familiar with the way we used to run our live stream, where we just get together and do a jam session, that second Saturday is slowly becoming that, where we just hang out and make music and just whatever happens, happens. But there's no pressure because the cameras are not on.
Correct.
And that was the appeal to that. And we've gotten some great feedback on that. So,
well, I guess we're just kind of treating that more like open house style, I guess, just come by and see what's going on, maybe meet some people. So
that'd be a good place to, hopefully once we get a lot of people participating in that, that'd be a good place for you to maybe find some folks who are trying to get some, maybe play an open mic night, or maybe develop a set list to play a show eventually.
Certainly.
Like that might be a good place to start. So once again, that is this Saturday, March 11th at 2:00, and we'll go till 4. No need to let us know you're coming. Just show up. Bring whatever instrument or thing makes noise and allows you to express yourself creatively. And that's it.
that's pretty much, yeah, I was going to say that if there was so much more to say, right? But it's actually really, really simple.
We're still trying to figure out what the second Saturday is going to ultimately become. But as we are envisioning it, we just want it to be a place where you're setting up the circumstances for success for somebody to play music or perform or whatever.
Or maybe run into the person they've been trying to run into that is into the same thing they're into.
Absolutely.
So,
we're hoping for a really good turnout. I'd like to have this place bursting at the seams with people, to be honest with you. That's kind of my secret, not so secret desire for that.
well, if we get too many, we have to start looking for more rooms. So
Well, that's
help us make that a problem, everyone.
make that a problem. Yeah, that would be a great problem to have. All right, well, I guess we can talk about some stuff we've been up to round out the rest of this.
Sorry, everyone. By the way, if I seem distracted, we set up a PA in here for the use of things, for example, like Second Saturday, and I made a mistake when I was setting it up and caused a bunch of noise and made some changes to make it stop and realized I screwed something up.
Oh, you
so,
did?
Yeah.
Is this something I didn't even realize?
Probably not, because it doesn't affect the circuit we're listening to.
Sorry about the noise here too.
So, sorry if you guys if the stream was
Sorry for all the sorries.
varying wildly in volume there for a minute. I was trying to get things back to basically the way we had it set up before. So I think we're all right now.
Are we okay?
Yeah, it appears that way.
All right. So yeah, let's talk about a little bit what we were up to. So we attended. I guess I'll lead the conversation and we can talk. We attended a open mic night at the Box Factory last Wednesday. I think we mentioned on here we were going to that, or at least it was happening.
Yep.
And I haven't done much with the Box Factory. I can speak for myself on that. I haven't done much with it. I was there maybe twice my whole life for something happening there. But that place is so beautiful. Like when you walk into the main room, I love like all the wood and how pretty it is in there.
There's history in there for sure. You can just feel it when you walk in the door.
But we went and attended, and Matt Lenny was hosting it. Matt Lenny is an awesome dude. He seems to really care about art and providing a opportunity for musicians, especially. And he's a musician himself, so I'm sure he understands the grind. In fact, I know he's got some music coming out soon. I think he's doing an album release at some point, which I'm sure it might be possible we bring that up again and mention it on here, but I know he's doing a lot of stuff like that.
I was actually meaning to look. I was under the impression that record may have dropped.
Okay.
Like a day ago or something?
Like,
I don't know.
What,
I gotta
like
look.
As of today? Like
I don't know.
Well,
But I
we'll
need
have
to go look.
We haven't done our due diligence on that. But anyway, point is, Matt Lenny, awesome dude. And we talked to him a little bit, and yeah, as far as I understand, he's kind of like, what would you say his position is? There like a promoter or something of?
I mean, he's hosting that event.
He's hosting the
for
event.
Them,
Yeah.
I don't know precisely what his involvement is beyond that, but I know that is a thing that's been going on, that they've been doing for a little while. I'm not sure how many of them they've had, but he did mention that some of the folks we saw there that were performing, it wasn't their first time. So
it looks like out today, which he posted yesterday, that his song or album was out yesterday.
Oh,
Yes.
Okay.
good. We'll go check that out then.
Spinning
And I'll have to check it
Bells.
out myself. So, what's it called?
Spinning Bells.
Okay, Spinning Bells. Nice. So yeah, he was there running sound, and there was a few folks that went up, and it was really cool. I think that'd be a great place. I know because the turnout was great, they will do another one. I think is what I would heard. They
I
are
would imagine so.
so, and I think they're pushing for first Wednesday of the month. So it sounds like the first week of the month is going to be a very heavy open mic night week, which is cool.
Hey, it gives you the other, part of the month to effectively prepare whatever you want to get going for it, right? So, and if you really have something worked up and you like it, if you want to go and try it a couple places and see what works, you got some opportunities. So,
yeah, you could treat it like you're on tour. You're playing at multiple venues.
I mean, that's good though. If you want, if your goal is to have some folks here and be familiar with the music you're making, I mean, why not?
Yeah. So there was, I think, there's a lot of musicians, but there was also a lot of poetry, too. So when you do an open mic night, you don't necessarily have to just do music.
That's true.
Maybe you could read some spoken word. There was some really cool spoken word poems read. I don't remember the guy's name. He was real tall, but he had a couple of kind of lighthearted but yet a little morbid poems that he read, which I thought were really creative. And then I think, what was her name? Linnea? Do you remember the girl who played piano?
I don't remember her name, but I'm told that she has performed there before.
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking about the one who played the James Arthur cover? Yeah.
I was really moved by that performance. It was really good. So, there's a lot of really talented musicians around here, as it
That's
turns out.
true.
And we're finding that out more and more.
So yeah, if you're one of those people and you haven't sent us an email yet or come out for a second Saturday, what are you waiting for? Do it.
Hit us up. We'd love to connect with you. And if we haven't, if you're a little bit nervous about being on a live stream, come out to the second Saturday. I think that's a great place, and that's also a great opportunity to see, how well you do, I guess, with performing and stuff, just in general. See where you're at in your proficiency with your instrument too. That'd be fun.
Certainly.
Then let's see, what else did we do? I guess we did talk a little bit about the Scypian family band that we were both at last night. I got to run the soundboard.
You did. That was fun.
I would wait for my opportunity to say it. I was so much fun. That was the first time I ever did that. And you feel I was telling John before the stream, I was telling him I'm glad that the approach that to keep in mind is to treat it like a job and to not romanticize it. It's a sweet job. It really is, but at the same time, it is a job, and you're not. You have to kind of approach it, I think, with a certain amount of humility when you're doing that kind of stuff, and being very kind and being very open, and try to be respectful as much as possible. I think in that position, it's kind of like a service role where you have a hand in a lot of ways things will go, but you're serving the music. Your goal there isn't to say, hey, look how good I am at the mix board. It's to say,
no,
your job is literally to be a support role to the band performing, to give them the best experience they can. And that can be, I think naturally, that's a very humbling position.
Another way to maybe put it kind of succinctly is I'm getting paid by the venue, but I'm working for the band.
That's cool. I really enjoyed it. I was a little nervous a couple times, but I think part of that is just to do with lack of experience with it right now. But
Give it time.
The knowledge is there. I have the knowledge in my head, But yeah, it was a great experience, and it was really cool to make, like, when you're there at that spot and you're watching the band, and you make eye contact with a couple of them, because there's moments where there's communication happening. I thought that was really like interesting. I'd not experienced that before, and I was like, there's like this like relationship there of like almost like a, I got you, you got me sort of thing, and it's like a partnership at that moment, and I bet that's really cool with like a lot of different bands coming through.
Yeah. In fairness, though, not everybody you work with like has the same team mentality, though. Some people are just like, there to do their thing, and they don't really care to interact much or do whatever, and that's fine too.
Because they treat it like a job as well.
Yep.
And you're
that's
just another
totally
sound
okay.
guy.
Yep. And I'm all right with that.
With the Scypian family band, I would say the Livery or this area is their home, so it's kind of like a home band.
Yeah, they're friends,
We're all veterans, so that was a really good first experience with the mixed word. So thank you to the Scypian family band for allowing me to man that helm. But do you got something, Ash? Oh, I thought she was looking over like she had something to say. But yeah, thank you for that opportunity, and thank you to Livery for giving me a moment, and John trusting me at the board. That was really fun. I really enjoyed that, and it was an honor. Yeah. So tonight we got that open mic night coming up. So we already mentioned it in our events coming up, but yeah, right when we're done with this stream, we're probably gonna head over there and get ready for that thing. You got something you're preparing for, don't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a song with some coworkers, and that's gonna be a good time, I think. I'm not gonna give anything away, but we're gonna enjoy it, I think. And we'll see. But seems like every open mic we have, the turnout increases. So I'm very curious to see. Like I said, do we have any people come back that we've seen even at some of these previous ones?
Yeah.
There's been some really talented folks, so I'm really curious.
Yeah, I am too.
The weather's nice today, so it's a good day to go out.
I wish I could have performed this tonight. Like I was like, I didn't realize like how quickly the open mic night happened, and
This month flew by.
It really did. I kind of feel like performing, but I have nothing ready, so I'm not going to. But maybe next month I will.
Yeah, we'll get something worked out.
I have a lot of song ideas. That one of the young men at the open mic night at the Box Factory played a Lord Huron song, and actually I wouldn't perform this one for an open mic just because I'm hoping he goes and performs it again maybe at some point. But I learned that song, and it's really fun to loop it on guitar because the chords are pretty standard. And so at home, like right after that, I went home. I'm like, I wonder how easy that is to play. Well, I found out that instead of playing in standard, it's a lot easier to drop D that song, because I think it's in A major.
Okay.
I think. I'm trying to think. Maybe it's in D. I don't know. Whatever. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Point being, I looped the part and I ran it through my echoes as the looper, and then I had the Ocean's 12, and I was giving it plate reverb. And I was trying to imitate the reverb on the album a little bit, even though I think they did a combination of reverbs. They probably did like a space designer of some sort, like an IR, because theirs sounds very spacious and warm.
A lot of their stuff to me always sounded like it was spring.
That's definitely in there, but they have very atmospheric stuff in that album. What's the album, Ash, with the green art? Do you remember? We went and saw them live in Grand Rapids. Oh, probably 3 years ago.
It's Vide Noir, Vide Noir.
Okay.
Vide Noir.
And they have the song "Meet Me in the Woods." That's the song the young man covered.
That's on that record?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Isn't it, Ash?
Is it? Well, let's find out.
Now I don't know. Anyway, when we went and saw that show,
how was that show?
Oh, amazing!
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
fell in
I would like
love
to see
with
that,
Ashley
actually.
again at that show.
Again.
You know, it's good music though. I've always liked it. It
That
just
was on
sounds.
Strange Tales.
Where are they from?
Um,
Either you know?
I
let's
don't
find
know
out.
offhand, but I
They
think they're
are
southwestern.
from-
They sound southwestern. But they also could be around here because Huron.
They are from.
They were with a lot of southwestern bands at that show. That's maybe why I'm making that association.
L.A. So Michigan born, L.A. based.
Okay.
They're Michigan-born, LA-based.
I
he was,
figured
yeah,
because it
lead
just
singer.
sounds
What?
it sounds too much like what I just think it sounds
Well,
like.
I was
here.
right about the southwestern part. Just want to say.
Yeah, good job. He says he spent evenings at the lake playing music.
Yeah, same.
Huh. Interesting.
We've already got the theory
Interesting.
that Lake Michigan definitely somehow has like within the DNA of the music written around here. It just is kind of like it's almost like I don't want to say infected, but like it's like
I'm even starting to think I know, like, to some degree, like structurally and theoretically, what people tend to do.
it's
if
like
they're
it's like,
right music and they're from around
it's
here.
almost like the atmosphere, the environment that you're in is like embedding itself in the DNA of the music being written in a strange way. Like there's a lot of artists that come from Michigan and they, there's like there's like a euphoria in a lot of these bands I hear that come from here. I don't know. I in my music I write, I tend to be pretty introspective in the way I approach it, and it always feels kind of euphoric the way it comes out. Like,
Where is Okemos, Michigan? Not sure where that is.
Isn't
That's
that
where he was
isn't that
from.
between like Jackson and Lansing?
Yep, it's the urban area of East Lansing, and it's near Michigan State. He went to University of Michigan and finished his degree in France.
when they toured,
Interesting.
there was a couple other bands that now I'm gonna forget who they were. The one of the bands that I wanted to remember, and I guess maybe I could look up like the show. Do you think you can look up a show that has happened? Or not that you could do it now. I'm just saying, is it possible to like look up a show from the past and see who was on the bill? That's probably out there, right? Because it's existed at one point. I don't know. I'm just.
Yeah, I don't know.
It'd be
I don't
hard
know.
to find. Do you think?
There's got to
'Cause
be somewhere that catalogs
there was a band.
that, right?
I would think so. There was a band that starts with an O
You talking about that toured with him?
that toured with them
Oh
at that
yeah,
concert.
you'd be able to find that.
Do you
'Cause it
remember
shows who's
any of the
they're touring
bands that
with.
were with them that night? Because there was one that had an O in the name, and I remember thinking, I need to remember this band, and then I remembered I forgot.
Didn't work very well, huh?
Yeah, no.
No.
Well,
That's
one of
funny.
them was the songs that we remember, so we just have to look up the song titles.
I can't remember any of them.
Oh.
I do like that sound though, and I said, I think it sounds like here,
Yeah.
or I don't know.
It reminds me of a warm summer night sitting next to like the lake, and the way the waves hit, they're so calm. Like, I mean, I used to sleep, like I'd go out to the dunes and camp. Don't do that, children. It's illegal. Unless you're allowed to do it somewhere, like at someone's property. But I used to go to the state park and do that. You think I'll go to jail if I mention that now?
Yeah.
There's
Goodbye.
got to be statute on that, right? I don't know.
It was long
It was
ago.
it was so long ago that I'm out of the statute of.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I do have a lot of memories of going out there with friends, and we'd bring guitars and we'd make a fire and we'd play music, and the lake was like really inspirational in that. Like you go swimming, the water's warm, and then you think of like song ideas when you're out there. You just get back on the beach, you dry off, you play some guitar, and then it gets into the music. And then those days, we at least we're at the point where we all had iPhones, so you could just record.
I do remember the days though, of like everybody. It's like, yeah, we're leaving the house, so like we're gonna go down to the beach. It's like somebody has a guitar, right? Like,
Yeah.
And
And it's like the sand and the water and just like getting into the strings of the guitar. It's gotta, I don't know, maybe I'm being too metaphysical or spiritual about it, but for me, it's very tangible.
yeah, just being in this area, it's a certain thing. we'll hopefully get to explore more of that. Like I said, I really think there's like not like a code to be cracked or whatever, but there is something characteristic
maybe
about things here, and I'd like to know where it's got to have been influenced by something, and so it's
yeah.
interesting to me what that could have been.
Well, maybe if anyone listening can speak to that, we'd love to have you on as a guest just to
Yeah,
talk about
we'd
maybe
love
your
to talk to
experience
you
with
about it.
writing. Any writers out there that have felt the inspiration we have with this area? Like, that'd be great.
Let's put it this way. I don't know if you've ever heard this term, but like, the term Midwest emo means something to me, right? And it does to a lot of other people I talk to. Like, a lot of the bands I grew up listening to were little tiny bands that came out of small town nowhere, like this, or like Ohio places, Indiana, whatever. Like, Ohio apparently had a crazy, like, local metal scene. A friend of mine grew up over there, and he's like, yeah, it was just like, I mean, you'd go to like these shows, and there'd be like 6 or 8 actually really, really good local bands playing like metalcore. And that was what people did.
Yeah.
And it's like, when I listen to any of those bands, and I'm like, yeah, that's like what that sounded like. That's just what it is, So.
The album, the Lord Huron album we're talking about, was mixed by Dave Friedman of the Flaming Lips MGMT.
Oh, yeah.
Engineered by Sonny, who did Portugal the Man, Animal Collective. Yeah. Just bringing it back to that quick.
That is definitely the information I like knowing, though. Especially because I just found, I don't know if anyone else out there has a Tidal account, but I have found that on Tidal, you can, in addition to looking for artists like, a musician, you can also look for like producers and engineers and stuff, and it'll even find you like all the projects, maybe not all of them, right? But if it knows about things they've worked on, you get this little concise list of like, oh, here's all the stuff this guy had an engineering credit on. Like, oh, that's interesting. It's
You
like,
put me on to doing that.
so it's like, does that guy kind of have a thing he does? Like, is there a sound to it? Or like, I don't know. I just like kind of analyzing that for no reason other than just it's interesting.
When you put me on to looking for music that way, I found out that Rick Ocasek mixed a lot of the records I like Weezer and one of the Motion City soundtrack albums. And then I also liked his band, The Cars, from the 80s. So, like, I didn't realize any of those bands had any connection point, but, like, The Law of Bacon or whatever it is, like, it was an instant.
6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, it was like First Degree. So, and all these bands I was interested in were
That's
first
funny.
degree relations.
I mean, that's how it goes, though.
Yeah.
I found that for me, there's an engineer like that a lot of the bands in the early 2000s that I was just like absolutely obsessed with in terms of like guitars and every other thing, like drum sounds too. Like all the records that I loved growing up, it's like same thing. It's like, why did I just think that those were the best thing that there was in that genre? And it turns out the same engineer did the recording part of that project. They didn't all have the same like producer mixer. In a lot of cases they did, and I do have like kind of a favorite for that too. But
Excuse me.
still getting me, huh?
Yeah, I went down the wrong pipe, and I thought I could hold it together, but I couldn't.
Are you doing all right?
I am doing better than I was a minute ago.
All right.
Sorry.
You good?
Oh, man. Yeah, so, like, it's not even just what you were saying, it's not just the producers always, it's sometimes an engineer you like, or they have a technique. Like, who's that guy we listened to when we first moved into this place? He was showing me some video, and this guy was talking about cutting up on tape. Do you remember what I'm talking about? He was talking about he had to, like, make corrections, rhythmic corrections on tape, and he was talking about how he got really good at it, and, like, is that ringing any bells?
Not particularly.
It was someone you really admired, and he was doing an interview.
not narrowing it down much, I have to say. I'm really sorry. When was this?
Like pretty early on moving in here, we sat by that computer over there and you were showing me, like, look at this guy. And it was an interview with him, and he's talking about like the meticulousness of like setting up the tape and like cutting it. And he got really good and fast at it, and that's why they allowed him to keep doing it.
The funny thing is, I feel like that's a lot of these guys' early story has bits of it that's that in common, because when they came into the industry, like, for lack of a better term, like that was the low work, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing you make the new guy do, you know? That's the part that sucks. So
The
you make somebody
meticulous.
else
It's like
do
the
it.
thing computers do now.
Yeah, like nobody has to spend that much time on it. Like it's kind of honestly insane.
Well, I wonder if like that kind of thing where like you get really good at cutting, even just like correcting on tape and that kind of thing, like technique and stuff. I wonder if like there's a certain quality of that's like admirable that like you could recognize in music, you know, even down to that level.
Well, for me, I've found that bit of the story that's in common with so many of these like producers, engineers, whatever. The thing you find that contributes to is, in terms of the work ethic, is like commitment, right? Because it's like if you're the one that's gonna have to edit all the stuff and you're the one doing the recording, it's like you got to develop a pretty good sense for what actually needs to be redone, because you're trying to save yourself time later.
Yeah.
So you start to figure out what you can do and what you can't do. I don't know. I just feel like you really got to be able to be sure that like you're ready to go and you have the stuff you've got to work with.
Yeah, like consistency and always perfecting your craft seems to be like the.
And because it was such a time intensive thing, it's like there isn't just unlimited redos, because someone's got to pay for that, you know?
Right.
And it's not like there's unlimited labor budget.
So like if you're really efficient and good at it, you can
kind of stand out, I feel like, right?
And you can
because it's a
charge
huge
more
cost
accurately
to everybody, right? But
Yeah.
when so and so does it, like he gets it done on time.
Yeah, he gets it done on time. He does it correctly, and so therefore he can get paid a little more. But like it saves everyone money because it takes less time.
Well, I think at that time, especially in the industry, it was less about maybe getting paid more and just getting to work with more people and kind of working your way up to get the better projects in general, right? Because it's like it's contract stuff.
So like a lot of those guys maybe, and this is obviously speculation, they probably weren't even thinking about the money so much as the opportunity.
Yeah, I think they just really enjoyed doing it, and they showed proficiency at it and got given some opportunities, and the people they worked with enjoyed working with them. In fact, in a lot of these cases, some of these people that did very early projects or records with folks, like they'll still do them today because they just like working with the guy, you know, or girl, whoever it is. Because the industry is just full of people that have a reputation for being like the people that folks want to work with.
Yeah. Wow.
And you get that by, I guess, just, you know, being consistent.
Well, that kind of matters with what we're doing too. Like we've kind of identified that pretty early on when we started doing these live streams. We said, for better or for worse, we're going to consistently do Sundays, and just committing to that. And because of that, you know, I think our community and people who watch, like, they're able to rely on it a little bit. And it's cool when you meet some people who've already heard about what you're up to and you can talk about it. And we really like talking about it because it's really, really fun, and it's like fulfilling for us.
I'm enjoying as things go on, things, I guess, being less about me or you or anybody and more about just like what connections can be made, you know?
Yeah.
And just facilitating that and trying to get as much information we can in people's hands to know what sort of events and opportunities are available around.
When we made that shift to what we're doing now, we've really identified that folks around here just need to hear about what's happening so they can know when to plug in. Like if you can prepare for something and plan on it. I used to be this person who's like, oh, I didn't know that was going on. I wish I could have known about that. So I'm glad we can share what's going on. And so if anyone's out there that has stuff going on, let us know.
Yeah, we'd love to know.
If it's pertinent to what we're up to, then
or if there's a place where you regularly let folks know what's going on, let us know where that
would
is,
be great
so
too.
we
We have to dig a little
check
bit
at it, you know.
We'll meet you halfway for sure, but
exactly.
It's hard to find this information at the moment. So
I'm also excited to, you know, have conversations with people around here that are involved in either the industry or, venues, people who do promotion, people who, are connected to various facets like that, and just sit down with them and talk about, what does it look like from their side of things and their point of view. I think that'll be really interesting as well.
I think that'd be good too, because they'll have valuable information for folks trying to get involved in stuff. They'll probably be able to kind of visualize what it looks like to do these things, and maybe they're interested in eventually someday doing some of it too.
Yeah, maybe we can pull the curtain back a little bit. And
it's not really. I mean, there's a lot of the word John used before stream was romanticizing this stuff, but like really, when it comes down to it, it's just a matter of like putting in the grind and working. It's just a job. It's a fun job, but at the end of the day, it's all about like getting better at it and working hard and doing what you can to set yourself up.
100%.
So there's nothing I mean, it's magical in a way, but there's nothing.
A lot of people doing the things you just said, though, with the same goal in mind, produces something that appears like it's magical.
Right,
to anyone who would
exactly.
just
It
observe
appears
it,
magical, yeah.
And that's cool too. Like there's nights where I enjoyed
that's
being
part of
on that side of
I
it
think
too.
that's a good way of putting it. Like it appears magical. I'll say when you're the one. I guess this is a good point. I'll explain my point of view on this whole thing. When I see a musician doing something really, really cool, there's a part of me that's like, oh man, I wish I could do that. That's so cool. They look so cool. And then when you learn that thing, it's kind of like, oh, well, I mean, it's just I'm doing the thing I've always done. It's a way different feeling when you're the one doing the thing than when you're watching the thing being done. And so I think sometimes I have, and this is just me being completely honest, like I have gotten to the point where maybe a musician I could be compared to a musician in terms of skill, or at least this is how I perceive it. I don't know, because again, it's confusing when it's your own abilities, but let's say like someone perceives me as having the same ability or skill level as someone else who I admire, right? Well, I'll think I have to try even harder in that moment because I'm not feeling the magic. I'm just doing the thing.
Right.
And so like sometimes it's possible you can overdo it because you're trying to grab at something that doesn't, you're trying to chase that feeling. I don't know. It's weird. It's not. It's just a weird thing I've recognized. Like sometimes I want to push even further, which is good. It's healthy, like in some contexts, right? Because I want to be better and better and better. But
so there's like you mentioned, there's a component of it that's like it was just like the set.
Yeah.
And the setting, and like where you were and the time and the place and like the moment. Like you said, you can do the thing and you can practice it and get really, really good at it. But some of it is just like a thing you'll discover on the way.
I think that's why I like improvisation and jam band a lot, because it's always surprising to me. And I feel like as a participant, I get to experience it like a listener because I don't know what's going to happen. So like I understand the appeal of jam band in that way because it's almost kind of like a more dynamic experience. And I'm very bad. Like I'm really, really bad at preparing stuff and ahead of time. Like the thing I practice is being good at improv, but I don't practice like a song that already exists. Like I can't, like I always tell you, I can't remember any of the songs I've written because I don't practice them. I don't memorize chord progressions. When I perform, I'm usually making it up in that moment. I'm not accessing a memory bank of like, I know how the song goes. I'm accessing a memory bank of like, I understand the theory. And I'm like improvising as I go.
I mean, look, I'm not a deep well as it pertains to just song knowledge either. I mean, most of the time I'm operating that way too. Though, in fairness, that's one of the things I'm trying to work on really hard.
Same.
And I was just actually telling my coworkers that I'm playing with today, like that same thing. Like, I don't care if it's perfect or not, but like taking the time to play this structure or hear these words enough times, even if I don't memorize every last bit of it, it's not going to go away completely. And the idea that someone could be like, hey, do you know whatever? And it's like, I might just be able to remember enough pieces of it to pull it off.
Yeah.
Even if it's terrible. So.
Yeah, it sounds like similar.
I just really would like to have a longer list of, I guess, just songs to be able to play.
I hate to admit this, but I'm bored by songs I know. Like, I just want to keep exploring things. And I guess that's part of the reason why I'm always writing new stuff, but I'm never working on old stuff. And that's kind of, I'm still trying to come to grips with it, whether or not, like, I'm trying to understand. I'm not trying to say it's good or bad. I'm trying to figure out, like, how can I function in a group of people if that's the way I am. Like, it can get kind of lonely because, like, you're always trying to push for something that no one else can even understand yet because you haven't conveyed it. But once it's conveyed, it's like I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, by the time we're
It's
all
almost-
ready to roll with it, you're done.
Yeah, it's
finished.
like, yeah, I know that's been a problem frequently. I'm trying to, like, be more consistent though. Like with this project that we're doing with the Silhouette Plane project, me and Katie and Hannah, I'm trying to, like, commit to things and be more consistent. I know Katie has had conversations with me about, like, always, she's like, it always can get better, but, like, we should work on what we have. And I was like, that's really good advice. Like, because I'm always striving to be better and, like, make it sound better, like, push it to the next level. And I think that's healthy when you're focusing on practicing the things that already exist. Like, there's other probably technicalities that I should focus on more that are less appealing to me, but also as important.
Sure.
But I don't know. Still working that out.
Of course. It's a journey.
Yeah.
Always something new.
So, all right. Well, we've been going for about 40 minutes, 50 minutes.
Something like that. I don't have anything else specific to
Yeah.
mention other than
I mean, on the or on open mic nights, like, we usually keep a shorter stream because we have to get over there and we're trying to get our head in that.
sure.
But, and there's going to be a lot. We've been talking to a lot of folks about having them on. We're really pushing for that. So if you have a band that has a set of, like, 30-minute set or so, we're looking for original material. So if you're a band that writes stuff and you're trying to, you know, come and do a performance, we would love to have you on. We want to host that so bad.
Yeah.
We're kind of running it in a sense. We draw a lot of inspiration from the Tiny Desk or Audio Tree or KEXP. If you are unfamiliar with those things, look them up on YouTube, watch a couple sets, and you'll get an idea of what we're trying to aim for. We have nothing to show yet because we haven't done it yet. But we will end up doing that because we have several bands that we've been talking to, and some of them seem very interested.
Yep.
One band in particular, we're just trying to set a date for having them come in. So,
Cool.
and then also another type of guest we would like to have on is, John mentioned, folks who know stuff about the industry, the craft, or folks that we want to hear about, like, you know, what you know about this area. Maybe, like, you're a booker or whatever. I know we have one guy like that we're talking about bringing in, or folks who run open mic nights and that kind of thing. We want to have you come on and just maybe tell a couple stories, and we want to ask some questions about how you run business and stuff like that, kind of pull the curtain back. So,
Cool.
all right. Anything else?
Second Saturday.
Yep.
This coming Saturday.
Open studio session here at Vibe Unit. Tell your friends. Bring something to make noise with. Starts at 2, ends at 4.
Open mic tonight. We already talked about that. Do we thank our donors?
Let's thank them again.
Hey, it's never a bad time to thank our donors.
So if you're on this list here, very much appreciate it. John, go ahead.
I mean, you say as well as I do.
I feel like I've been doing a lot of talking. This episode.
It's okay. We are very appreciative of these folks because everything that we're doing here is made possible by community support, and we just sincerely thank each and every one of you for that. The best way you can help us is to share this around, share us with a friend, subscribe to our channels.
Yeah.
We really appreciate that.
Thank you.
I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Session 111.
111.
Right, in the books.
Yep.
Cool. All right, well, we will see you next week, everyone.
Thank you. See you next week.
Have a good one.